Today I'm going to show you exactly how you could have made $7,000 in one single day if you took the same trade as me. I'm going to do a trade breakdown going through the exact reasons why I took this trade and how I executed it. So let's get right into it. So first of all, it was a nice little 1 to 3. Normally I do higher RR, I do stuff like a 1 to 10, but the reason why I fully closed out at 1 to 3 is because when it reached my 1 to 3 area, I think I was going out that day with family, so I did not want to like be looking at my phone the whole day. And second of all, I did see that it was a major high that was taken, and overall we were bearish for the time being. But I still had a reason to take a counter trend trade, but I'm going to tell you exactly why. So let's get into the higher time frame before we jump into anything. First of all, let me actually rewind this a little bit further back for you guys. So before the trade actually happened, on the higher time frame, we are clearly seeing some bearish momentum coming into the market just before the trade happens. So we're seeing some bearish momentum coming into the market, but I'm not scared to take this trade. The reason why that was is because on the higher time frame, you can see that before we were clearly bullish, creating legs to the upside. So let me actually mark this out for you guys. So we had a high forming right here. You could even say this is the actual high, low, high, low, higher high would have been this high right here. And then, so this was the very last low. And the way I trade is I find my extreme zones, which is the very first zone that was created from the low. And I also find the decisional zones. So for me, this was the very first demand zone that was created from this low to this high. So I marked out this demand zone right here. And then the second one would have been whichever low was before it caused the breaker structure to the upside. So clearly right now, we're having some sort of breaker structure right here, and it's still this low. So that means that this demand zone is somewhat quite a strong demand zone, even though right now we're looking like we're heading bearish. We're making breaker structure to the downside, but on the higher time frame, we are still bullish, and this is a valid zone. And this was my complex pullback coming into here. I was wishing to see a reaction, which I did see. And when we came into this day, hopped onto the lower time frame, let time play out. We had Asia session forming earlier on. Earlier on in the day, we had Asia session forming. We had London kind of floating in the middle of nowhere, and then this was in New York session. I think it's around 2. I think I took this around 2 p.m. UK time, but this was in New York session. So what I seen was happening was just before New York session, we created this low right here, which was a medium inducement. So we created this nice low, heading up a little bit, taking some liquidity to then head lower again, whilst we already had this demand zone underneath it, which was not tapped into yet. So it's creating a perfect opportunity for us to take out this high. So first of all, what price did was it came up, induced this high. So they took the fuel to continue lower. So they took all the fuel to continue lower, then came and made the real inducement. And when this inducement was made, I'm pretty sure it's literally just around before market open. So it's not around market open, but it's the time that I like trading. I like trading from 2 p.m. until 3 p.m. So it was just around 15 minutes before I actually trade. So what happened? We had that inducement. I hopped on the lower time frame, and what we seen on the lower time frame was that on the 1 minute we had that medium adjustment. I was waiting for my minor adjustment to happen because there's still no minor adjustment happening. So we tapped into this demand zone, had that minor adjustment now forming, as you can see right here on the 1 minute. So this is clearly showing us that buyers are now coming into control. Sellers were in control before, but buyers are clearly starting to come into control as they're starting to show momentum to the upside. They're starting to show legs to the upside. We're having these minor adjustments heading higher. So we've had that minor adjustment, and I use something called a two-leg protocol as my lower time frame confirmation. So after having this minor adjustment, I wanted to wait for those two legs to form, and they did end up forming right here. And what this looks like right now, it looks a little bit messy, but let me show you how I managed to figure this out. So the first leg after the minor adjustment would have been this one right here. So we had the first leg to this high. Then we had a retracement to the downside. It did not break this low, so it's still a retracement. Then the second leg would have been this huge leg right here. Okay, so you might be thinking, so how do you know where to enter right now? This is where on the 1 minute time frame, it was looking very messy, so I wasn't able to see anything amazing. This is when I started cycling through the time frames. I went on the 2 minute, it still was looking very, very messy. I couldn't see any correct RIFCs that I could look for. And then when I hopped onto the 3 minute, the perfect RIFC formed right here. You have a institutionally funded candle, you have the engulfed candle, you have the fair value gap. Like I told you before, I'm telling you guys some secret sauce right now. I marked out the RIFC, which was about from where I marked the top, it was about 4.7 pips, but I'm pretty sure I just covered the lows right here just to be safe, just in case price tapped through it, and or maybe even spread sometimes. So when is this close to the low, I do tend to cover the lows as well. And what happened was that I was waiting for this price to actually tap into it. I set my limits, price tapped into it, tapped me into the trade. We're just floating in drawdown for a tiny bit. And then what happened? We shot right to the upside and we took out that high right there. So that was the 1 to 3 right there. I'll put up the proof on the screen of the trades that were taken. But this was the 1 to 3. Normally I would have held this to a 1 to 10 and normally take partials at this high. But the thing that happened, I'm pretty sure this came back to break even. So normally my break even point would have been right here. Let me show you exactly where my break even would have been. So as soon as it tapped me into this trade, my break even would have been as soon as this high was taken. As soon as this single high was taken right here, I would have been break even, and then whatever came back to after, I would have just been stopped out at break even. But so already hit 1 to 3 before price came back to break even, and then I'm pretty sure it started shooting back down just right after and came back to the starting point. So if I did hold it to a 1 to 10, I would have only made 1.5% because I was at break even. 1 to 10 was quite a bit further. It would have been all the way up to here. That's normally what I trade. I don't really trade 1 to 3s on its own, but this day was a like exception because I was out with family. I didn't want to be looking at my phone 24/7. You know, sometimes you need to take priority over certain things. And this day I did choose to take priority over my family than trading, but it still paid out. So hopefully you guys understand a little bit why I took this trade. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave them down below. I'll be doing more and more of these trade breakdowns. I have some more coming through because I did trade quite a few times coming through the weeks. I'll be doing some trade breakdowns over losses as well, and showing you guys that as well because I'm trying to be as transparent as I can with you guys. So yeah, make sure you leave a comment down below. If you don't understand anything, ask it. I'll make sure I'll try to respond and try to explain it my best. But yeah, I'll see you guys next video.